Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala, Paper 12 Environmental Management, Module 8 Amendments in EIA Notification. Dear students, we have already studied about the EIA Notification 1994. In this, we will discuss the various major amendments in the EIA notification till introduction of new notification, that is notification EIA notification 2006, and in briefly also discuss the major differences between the notification 1994 and 2006. The contents of the module are introduction, amendment on 10th April 1997, amendment on 27th January 2000 and further 13 December 2000, then amendment on 21st November 2001, amendment on 13 June 2002, amendment on 28th February 2003, further in the same year two more amendments on 7th May and 4th August, then 22nd September 2003, amendment on 7th July 2004, and finally amendment on 4th July 2005, after which EIA notification 2006 superseded this notification. So, introducing about the module, the EIA mechanism was formally introduced in India in 1994 with a notification by Ministry of Environment and Forests, Government of India under Environment Protection Act 1986. The EIA 1994 notification covered the projects like nuclear power and related projects, river valley projects, major irrigation projects, ports, harbors, airports, petroleum refineries, chemical fertilizers, mines, industries, highway bridges, etc. for EIA studies to protect the environment. The main aim of the EIA notification was to strengthen the notification, remove anomalies, changes to keep up with the key amendments of EIA 1994 notification. We will discuss here only the major amendments and not the minor one. The EIA notification 1994 was amended 13 times in the time span of 11 years till 2006. The several amendments in 1994 EIA notification had given base to new notification of EIA 2006. So, the first amendment was on major amendment was on 10th April 1997. The amendment led to two things. One, it made changes in the environment clearance procedure for power plants. Number two, it introduced the process of public hearing in the environmental clearance. The details of the changes are: number one, MOEF decentralized the responsibility of conducting EIA only at center level and placed certain category of thermal power plants EIA clearance with the ambit of state pollution control boards. The amendment took all cogeneration plants irrespective of the installed capacities, captive power plants up to 250 megawatt and utility projects. It included coal based plants up to 500 megawatt using fluidized bed technology subject to the sensitive area restrictions. It included coal based power plants up to 250 megawatt using conventional technologies, gas or naphtha based plants up to 500 megawatt under the ambit of state pollution control boards. The Schedule 2 laid down the procedure for seeking environmental clearance of these projects. The state pollution controls were entrusted the responsibility to conduct public hearing in free and fair manner to get the views and concerns of the public affected due to proposed project. It was made mandatory that the copies of executive summary containing the salient features of the project both in English as well as local language be submitted to the state pollution control boards where the public can read these documents. The process was laid down for issuing notice of public hearing. The main features of the notice were: number 1, the State Pollution Control Board has to give notice for environmental public hearing and publish in at least 2 newspapers. The notice board should have been circulated in the region round the project. State Pollution Control Board was required to mention the date, time and place of public hearing. Suggestions, views, comments and objections of the public were invited within 30 days from the date of publication of the notification. Number 2, all the persons including bona fide residents, environmental groups and other located at project site or site of displacement or site likely to be affected can participate in the public hearing process. Participants were allowed to make oral or written suggestions to the state pollution control boards. The schedule also contained information regarding the composition of the public hearing panel. Then another major amendment came in the 27th January 2000 and 13th December 2000. Here, the preview of EIA notification was amended with notification in January and December 2000 regarding non-requirement of EIA in respect of a. Any item reserved for small scale industrial sector with investment less than rupees 1 crore. B. Defense related road construction projects in border areas. Then another amendment came on 21st November 2001. Though amended in original EIA notification in November 2001, the followingly discussed points were introduced or changed. As per this amendment, any item falling under category entry number 8 of Schedule 1, that is bulk drugs and pharmaceuticals, covered by the notification dated 5th December 1989, has been exempted from the preview of EIA notification. Further, it was laid down that the public hearing shall be completed within a period of 60 days from the date of receipt of documents complete in all respect as required under paragraph 1 of the said notification. Then amendment on 13 June 2002. This amendment exempted some type of industries and projects from ambit of environment clearance process to boost the progress of these projects. As per this amendment, EIA report was not required for pipeline projects and public hearing for pipeline and highway projects. EIA was not required for any item falling under entry number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 13, 14, 16, 17, 19, 21, 25, 27 of Schedule 1. If the investment was less than 100 crores for new projects and less than 50 crores for expansion or modernization projects. Further, EIA was not required for any item falling under entry number 8 of Schedule 1 if the project was covered by the notification GSR 137E dated 5th December 1989. It exempted EIA for modernization projects in irrigation sector if additional combined area was less than 10,000 hectares or project cost was less than 100 acres. The substitutions made in the Schedule 4 were: an executive summary containing the salient features of the project both in English as well as the local language with the environment impact assessment. However, for pipeline project, EIA report will not be required, but environmental management plan including risk mitigation measures is required. The words executive summary with the word executive summary and environment impact assessment report were substituted. Then there were 4 amendments came in 2003. The first one was amendment on 28th February 2003. The central government further made the amendments in the EIA notification, and subsequent amendments were: number A, the words, figures and letter numbers 3 and 18 of the scheme of the schedule 1 shall be substituted. The preview of EIA notification was increased with covering of mining involving major minerals with lease area more than 5 hectare in areas covered by the Aravali under its ambit. Amendment on 7th May 2003. The notification was amended to exempt the widening and strengthening of existing canals with certain caps or alignments. The widening and strengthening of the existing canal with land acquisition up to maximum of 20 meters on both sides put together along the existing alignments, provided such canals do not pass through ecologically sensitive areas. Then another amendment on 4th August 2003. Here, the distance criteria in respect of reserved forest and ecologically sensitive areas and interstate boundary were reduced from 25 and 50 km respectively to 15 kilometers in both the cases. Amendment on 22nd September 2003. The notification made some changes in paragraph 2 and schedule 1 of the amended EIA notification. These changes are: number 1, the amendment exempted the offshore exploration activities beyond 10 kilometers from the nearest habitat village boundary, Gothans, and ecologically sensitive areas such as mangroves, corals, coral reefs, national parks, marine parks, sanctuaries, reserve forests, and breeding and spawning grounds of fish and other marine life from public hearing. The site clearance for greenfield airport, petrochemical complexes and refineries was made mandatory. Number 2, in schedule 1, the item 4, that is petroleum refineries including crude and product pipelines, was substituted with petroleum refineries including crude and product pipelines, isolated petroleum product storages. Next amendment on 7th July 2004. The amendment increased the activities under EIA by addition of entries in schedule 1 from 30 to 32 and substitution in schedule 2. The amendment also provided explanations regarding the new entries in schedule 1. These new entries were at 31 number new construction projects and at 32 new industrial estates. The guidelines or explanations for the new entries made the environment clearance compulsory for the projects like any construction project falling under category entry 31 of schedule 1, including new townships, industrial townships, settlement colonies, commercial complexes, hotel complexes, hospitals and office complexes for 1000 persons or below or discharging sewage of 50,000 liters per day or below or with investment of rupees 50 crore or below, and any industrial estate falling under entry 32 of schedule 1, including industrial estates accommodating industrial units in an area of 50 hectares or below, but excluding the industrial estates irrespective of area if their pollution potential is high. The explanation of the amendment on 7th July 2004 was: number 1, new construction projects which were undertaken without obtaining the clearance required under this notification and where construction work has not come up to the plinth level shall require clearance under the notification with effect from 7th day of July 2004. In case of new industrial estates which were undertaken without obtaining the clearance required under this notification and where the construction has not commenced or the expenditure does not exceed 25% of the total sanctioned cost shall require clearance under this notification with effect from the 7th day of July 2004. Any project proponent intending to implement the proposed project under subparas G and H in a phased manner or in modules shall be required to submit the details of the entire project covering all phases or modules for appraisal under this notification. Then amendment on 4th July 2005. This amendment provided some relaxation for projects relating to expansion or modernization of activities as listed against item 1, 2, 3, 19 and 20 in schedule 1 of this notification taken up after 27th January 1994. As per this amendment, in paragraph 1, the amendment made provisions that the above project could be taken up without prior environmental clearance or some conditions. The central government in the Ministry of Environment and Forest may, on to case basis in the public interest, relax the requirement of obtaining prior environmental clearance. The working permission in the prescribed format not exceeding 2 years period during which the proponent shall obtain the requisite environmental clearance as per procedure laid down in the notification. As per notification, the grant of temporary working permission would not necessarily imply that the environmental clearance would be generated for the said project. In paragraph 2, in subparagraph 3, after clause C, some provisions shall be added at the end. Projects related to expansion or modernization activities listed against items 1, 2, 3, 19 and 20 in schedule 1 in respect of public interest, temporary working permission has been granted. In public interest, as per notification, such projects would be permitted to continue to operate during the validity period of the temporary working permission. Such temporary working permissions shall automatically cease from the date of grant or rejection of environment clearance or at the expiry of 2 years, whichever is earlier. Further, as per amendment, after 2005, there was a widespread opinion that the current EIA notification and amendment made are not able to address environment concerns and need strict legislation. This paved the way for new EIA notification in September 2006. the Ministry of Environment and Forest re-engineered the EIA process with significant modifications. Now, major difference between EIA notification 1994 and 2006. The new EIA notification was an attempt to decentralize power of center to state government. Some of the key differences in the notification 2006 and 1994 are: number 1, revised schedule based on potential impacts instead of investment criteria; revised categorization of projects into category A and B; division of assessing bodies as per categories, category A exclusively at center level and category B1 and B2 at state level with some exceptions; checklist information in Form 1 or Form 1A; no objection certificate for environmental clearance; constitution of State Environment Appraisal Committee at the state level; state level Environment Impact Assessment Authority. Number 7, constitution of District Environment Appraisal Committee and district level Environment Impact Assessment Authority for minor mining projects. Guideline number 8, guidelines for environmental consultants for EIA project, issue of terms of reference to streamline the process. Some other differences are tabulated in the next few slides and are discussed as. Here we can see that as per EIA notification 2006, projects in schedule have been divided into two categories, category A and B. Category A projects require clearance for central government, that is MOEF, and category B will require clearance from state government. However, the state government will first classify if the B category projects fall under B1 or B2. B1 category require presentation of EIA reports, while remaining projects are termed B2 and do not require EIA report. However, as per EIA notification 1994, proponent desiring to undertake any project listed in the schedule 1 had to obtain clearance from the central government. Number 2, EIA notification 2006 is well defined, has well defined screening process with projects divided into two categories, category A and category B. All projects and activities require EIA study and clearance from central government if these are under category A. In case of category B, application is reviewed by the state level expert appraisal committee and divided into two categories, B1 which will require EIA study and B2 which does not require EIA study. While in case of EIA notification 1994, in screening, the project proponent assesses if the proposed activity or the project falls under the purview of environmental clearance, then the proponent conducts an EIA study either directly or through a consultant. Another major difference in EIA notification 2006 and 94, in notification 2006, entire responsibility of determining the terms of reference depended on the expert appraisal committee. This is to be done in case of category A and category B1 projects. The finalization of TOR by expert appraisal committees will depend on the information provided by the project proponent. There is also provision that expert appraisal committees may visit the site and hold public consultation and meet experts to decide the terms of reference. However, if the EACs do not specify the TOR within 60 days, the proponent can go ahead with their TORs notified by the ministry or own TOR. The final TOR shall be displayed on the website of the Ministry of Environment and Forest and concerned state or union territory Environment Impact Assessment Authority. However, in case of 1994, scoping was not applicable. The terms of reference was completely decided by the proponent without any public consultation. Further, as per EIA notification 2006, the responsibility for conducting the public hearing was with the State Pollution Control Board. Member secretary of the concerned State Pollution Control Board or Union Territory Pollution Control Committee has to finalize date, time and exact venue of the conduct of public hearing within 30 days of the date of receipt of the draft environmental impact assessment report. As per notification 2006, it should be advertised in one major national daily and one regional vernacular daily. A minimum notice period of 13 days required to be given to public for furnishing their responses. While in case of EIA notification 1994, as per notification, the project proponent has to write to State Pollution Control Board to conduct public hearing. It was responsibility of state boards to publish notice for environmental public hearing in at least 2 newspapers. It should have been widely circulated in the region around the project, one of which should be in the vernacular language of the locality concerned. So, these are the major differences between EIA notification 2006 and 1994. Hence, in the end we conclude that EIA notification 1994 was having many amendments during these years, and these amendments were taken up for the betterment of the EIA notification 1994, but finally it was superseded with another notification of EIA notification 2006, and currently this notification of EIA 2006 is followed for all processes related to environment impact assessment or environment clearance procedure. Thank you.